It's me, Jen, from Just Jen, living your 360-degree life. Living my 360-degree life, where I focus on chai. The C is for community, family. H, health and wellness over 50. The A is for author life and entrepreneurship. And the I is for identity. Now, that could be your identity in Christ, however you identify, your race, your culture, whatever identity, because all those four things are the things that are most important to me. And before we get started, we're going to do a little housekeeping. Guys, you can get in touch with me anytime by going to Facebook. And my handle is Just Jen Live, because y'all know I'm all the way live. If you want to know a little bit more about my books, Just Jen, it's Just Jen with the G. And then, of course, my website is www.jennoonspalding.com. And my Instagram, Just Jen Live. And Twitter is also Just Jen Live. So please check me out, okay? And in the meantime, be blessed. And we do have a huge blessing today. I have my friend, my colleague. She is just an amazing person. She's a therapist. She just has a whole empire of things that she's doing. She has books. She has coaching business. She has children that she's rearing and a whole family life. She is the whole package, y'all, okay? Susan Broussard is a licensed marriage and family therapist, author, and life coach. With over 12 years of experience helping people heal from abusive relationships. Please, if you're in an abusive relationship, get out of that. No one has time for that. She hopes to help more people with her new life coaching program based on her book. It's Not Love, Not. Uncover the truth, understand the disorder, and undo the damage to obtain the love you deserve. Ooh, I love that title. Susan is amazing. Okay, with online programs, one-on-one coaching, and group coaching, anyone can access help and healing today. And I'll give you some information on how to contact her. With no further ado, I bring you my friend and colleague and co-writer, Susan Broussard. Yay! Hey, Susan!
Hi.
Hey.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, darling. Of course. You're amazing. Okay, well, let's get into it. Tell me about your entrepreneurial empire that you have over there. Your coaching business, and I'm sure I've left some things out. Those are the main two, but tell me about them all.
Yes. Okay, well, it started with just a small therapy office. And I just had to get out of mainstream medical therapy because they were not helping people the way I would help people and giving people everything that they need. It's really a numbers game to them. And so I went into business for myself and I was really successful. And I found that I was repeating my stories of how I survived a narcissistic relationship. And I was getting a lot of clients that had the same issues. So I decided, I should just write a book. And all my years of doing counseling, I would tell other people, wow, that's an amazing story. You should write a book. You should write a book. And then one day it was like, wait, maybe I should just write the book. And so I wrote the book with the help of the AEE. Remind me what that stands for, Jen.
It's AAE, Author Academy Elite. That's how we met, actually.
Yes. Thank you, darling. Yes, Author Academy Elite program that helped us get out of our way and just get the book out there. And it has been really beneficial for lots of my clients and lots of other people. So my book is a self-help, but it's also my story. So I take you through my story and show you how to escape and then empower yourself to get out of it, and then how to elevate your whole life to really get past it, because it's not just a one relationship issue. We are in these relationships because of our childhood traumas and just other things that have happened in our lives. So it becomes this all-encompassing issue. And if you only help people with part of it, you're not really helping them. So I help people holistically with every piece so that they can really fly. And so then that has turned into a coaching program, because again, with therapy is very legalistic, I'll say. We have a lot of rules, we have a lot of things we can do and we can't do. And a lot of people maybe don't have, let me explain. So therapy, you go to therapy if you have, anxiety, depression, you're not sleeping, you're not functioning in your lifestyle or at work. So if you have those symptoms because of the abusive relationship, then we can do therapy. But some people are actually functioning pretty well, don't have those issues, but still need the training and help to stay away from narcissistic relationships. So I said, well, I need to create something separate for that, which will be the coaching program. Plus, I wanted to reach all my non-California people, because therapy is also, I'm stuck in my state where I'm licensed. And so I can only do therapy with people in California. So if you're in California, you can definitely hit me up. Tell me you heard me on Jen's podcast, and I will get you in as soon as possible. I do virtual and in person. But if you're not in California, then you can go through the coaching program that I'm developing, and I'm creating, different pieces for whatever people need. Maybe they don't need all of it. They can just pick and choose, or they can get one-on-one coaching or group coaching. So I'm real excited about that. And at the same time that that's going on, like you said, girl, I am literally running 3 businesses right now. Because my therapy business is growing as well. So we've become a corporation. So I'm running that while still running the old business as I transition. And then now the coaching business. So it is a lot. It is a lot. And then Jen and I did a book called My
Black
Memory,
Now.
Thank you, sweetie. Over 40, boy, I tell you. And all this stuff we're doing, it's just, I can't remember things. So yes, we did Black History Now, and I had Jen in there, and that was a wonderful, just fun. It just came out of Black History Month, wanting to know what all my sisters were thinking, and the new ways we're thinking of Black history, where we don't have to just watch slave movies all month. Like, we need to teach people what's going on. Yeah, like we know that part. But what's going on now? And I feel like today's people with the climate, they need to see Black people today of what we're doing now, that we're not all criminals. We're not all leeching off the government, whatever they've been taught by some ignorant folks. I really wanted to just show what regular, everyday Black women are doing. So that book is also available on Amazon. It's just a cute little coffee table picture book with some quotes from my ladies. And maybe we'll turn that into something bigger later on as well, because someone else had commented, wow, the little snippets of us are great, but they actually want to know more about our lives and hear more about us. So maybe one day we will collaborate again and do a bigger book. So we've got that going. And then I've got, of course, couples dating, really aimed at healthy couple relationships, because that's the dual edge as well. I can help people with the bad, but then what do they do? So I'm working with a colleague to create a book on a healthy marriage, and of course it's going to be fun and have a lot of fun stories in it, because I love to laugh, as Jen does. So those are the main things, and as she said, I'm also married to a veteran. I do a lot of work with the veterans in my therapy business as well. I have 4 children. I have 2 at home and 2 out doing their lives, So yeah, we're just doing it over here.
I love it. I am so here for it, sister.
Yes.
I love to see everyone do well, especially my people. We've had the struggle for real. So when you win, I win. When I win, you win. We're all in this together. So I can't get enough of that. I think it's great. Awesome.
Yes,
Congratulations on all. I didn't know the extent, girl. It's just wonderful to hear.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have a little bit of a nosy, but a just
Yeah.
need to know kind of question. Okay, now you were talking about how you've done therapy and different types of people and coaching. And so I'm just wondering if you've ever coached someone that has just seemed, well, I hate to say it, but kind of hopeless. And can you
Mhm.
share anything without exposing them? Maybe change the name or whatever, or the circumstance. Could you tell us a little something?
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, everybody comes in the door hopeless. So that's the baseline of what we do, because you're so beaten down, and maybe you've had other therapy experiences that weren't good, and you're just desperate, and this is your last effort. Like, if this don't work, I guess I'm a lost cause type of thing. So most people come in that state.
Okay.
But I had a recent person who he did everything right, as in, our standards, where he stayed in the marriage. He actually divorced, but then they got remarried and divorced again. And then he stayed in the house and for the children, and the children in their 20s. And so he was a good provider. He did everything, but he was miserable. This woman, it was actually a woman narcissist, which is a new kind of spinoff that I'm nurturing and going into as well now, because my book is from the perspective of a female victim with a male narcissist. But I've been helping a lot of men get out of issues with female narcissists. And let me tell you, as we know, women are better at everything. So the female narcissist is a force to be reckoned with, and they are tearing these men apart. So anyway, so this particular guy, finally we worked through his courage, and we worked through the pain and the guilt to get him to leave the relationship and go have a happy life, and he thought his kids understood, but he left, and the kids all of a sudden got on mom's side, or I don't know what was said, and they stopped talking to him. And so that's what a lot of these guys are dealing with, called parent alienation. And it's just so confusing, where, like, did I not do enough? Here's a guy that stayed for 20 some years unhappy.
And were they, you said the kids were still in the house at 20 something years
Yes,
old?
they're 20, right? So what more can I do for y'all? Okay.
Right. They grow.
So, but then the silver lining was he was hopeless. I mean, I go through also dating tips at the end of my book. There's a few dating tips, and then I have some really neat ways that I help people learn how to date again. And we can get into that a little later. But so I helped him with that, and he was online dating, because this climate of COVID, what can you do? Online dating is really not my choice, but I have to figure out how to help people through it. So he went on, wow, I want to say let's say about 10 dates. And I don't know if that sounds like a lot, but it's a lot when you're the guy, and he's a good guy, and he was paying for all the dates, and so he was meeting some crazy women. And when I say crazy, when you see on TV therapists say, "Oh, we don't use that word," that's nonsense. Okay, all of us who know we're crazy, we're sane. It's the people that don't know they're crazy that you got to watch out for.
Right.
So he was meeting all these crazy women who didn't know they was crazy, and just had a hard time, was about to give up, y'all. And I had to just infuse him with that faith and just, come on, one more time. Like, I know it's been hard, but this is the struggle. And you're learning each time, you're learning to, get those red flags faster or whatnot. And sure enough, he went on there one last time, and he met a wonderful person. And now he's with her and happy and able to, have a happy piece of his life as he deals with whatever's going to happen with these kids that, are not talking to him at the moment.
I was going to ask about
there is a way. Yeah, so it's a lot of pain for most of us. I too am going through parent alienation. My son is not talking to me right now because of incidents that happened where basically he didn't want to follow rules. And when you have a narcissistic side of the family telling him, do whatever, you can do whatever, and supporting that, you can't fight that. So I had to let him go, and he's going to make his own decisions. So yeah, one of the programs that is up on my website is called, dealing with the children of narcissists. So it has elements of parent alienation, how to do phone calls, how to do things when you can't really see your kid. And we're going to be adding programs as we go. So yeah, there can be hope at the end of the tunnel. It's going to look different than what people think. And the goal is not to fix every piece of your life to what you think it should look like. The goal is for you to be happy and feel loved and not be abused anymore.
Right. Oh, well said. I think that's a word for all of us. That if we're in relationships that are unfulfilling and there's no joy there. I mean, I've been married almost 21 years, so I know every day is not sunshine and rainbows. However, you can't go on the happenings. You got to have joy, which comes from Jesus. That's what I believe.
Inside,
And,
yes.
I can't depend on my husband to make me happy. Happiness comes from within. I know that. And so I have joy and peace, most of the time. And just, just trying to, we just work it out. We just work through things. But, if there ever comes a time in not only my life, but any woman or man's life where you are just upset, unhappy from waking up to the time you go to bed, and nothing you do seems to be enough, and you can't just survive. They need to just come see you or someone and work through it, because life is too short, honey. That's to all my listeners.
Right.
Life is too doggone short to be putting up with a bunch of nonsense. It's just
right.
So
Exactly. And through the coaching program, we will, through the coaching program, we will help people find the therapist in their area, what to look for, what questions to ask, because a lot of therapists are not well versed in this topic, and it's, if they haven't dealt with it personally or otherwise, it's very hard to understand what we go through, because the narcissism is emotional abuse, and so it's so sneaky and insidious. It's very hard to explain the tiny little things that they do, where they manipulate you over years. So we will help people with that as well.
Sounds so promising. I'm excited for you and your program. That leads me to the next question. I watched some of your videos about narcissists, which we just got through talking about. How can the average person avoid being in a relationship with a narcissist? And what about those if you can't avoid being in a relationship with one? How can we cope with the narcissist in a healthy way? Because sometimes the narcissist might be a parent or someone that it's hard for you to cut out your brother or your sister or blood kin to you.
Yes. Okay, so for those of you trying to avoid it, whether it's dating or you get a lot of this on your jobs.
Oh wait, Susan, before you tell me, tell us, what is a narcissist? What exactly is a narcissist? Of course.
Yes. Okay. Well, narcissism is when a person lacks empathy. Think of, like, we all got downloaded an empathetic neuron in our brain when we were born. Well, narcissists don't have it. So most of the studies out there, we believe that they are not born with empathy at all. They can't learn it. They can't develop it. It's gone. It's not there. And empathy is what helps us understand feelings of other people, to know that I hurt you, to know that you're sad. They cannot tune into that. That's the biggest one. Then there's their need to be admired. They're always looking for admiration and words of affirmation, and look at me, tell me I'm awesome type people. And then there is the manipulation. They tend to manipulate and use people for their own good. And they tend to lie and things like that for their own, just everything is about them. If they're getting something out of it, that is why they're behaving, good, bad, or otherwise. Okay, so people can have narcissistic traits, right? Growing up in what I call narcissistic America is, we're all one for one and all for me. And so, a lot of us are being taught some of that. Yes. So some people have traits and they do these things out of survival or because they learned it somewhere, but they're not a full narcissist. So in psychological terms, it's called narcissistic personality disorder, when you have all of the traits and the whole picture of the person is that they are disordered in this way. Okay. And I'd like to clarify that, all narcissists are not sociopaths, but all sociopaths are narcissists. Okay, so some narcissists are your regular day-to-day people. They're not going to hurt anybody, but then you have your few that are sociopathic and do hurt people. Okay. So the differences in the types I explain in my book as well. So avoiding them comes from yourself. As you said, Jen, it comes from you first. You need to know yourself first. You need to love yourself. You need to gain self-love. You need to know all the personality traits about you. You need to accept who you are and what you need in life. Because that's what I find is the issue with dating is people don't know themselves and what they need. And so they just accept whatever. Like, oh, he looked at me. All right. Oh, he has a job. Okay. Right. That's better than the last one, you know. And no, you need to create a whole list of traits about yourself. And then what I help people do is create a list of, you know, complementary traits or things that you have to have, things that you cannot do without. And these are characteristics, people, not physical, you know, attributes. Okay. Because I learned a long time ago that tall, dark, and handsome don't get it. I need smart, loving, and good credit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, someone I can build something with. You know, we don't have to have the same number of degrees. We don't have to come from the same family or background, but we should have the same values, the same, you know, because my husband and I are like totally,
he's all quiet.
He's chill, I'm no chill, okay?
That's right.
So, but we share values, you know, of what's right and wrong. And, you know, we wanted something in life. We want to build a future. So that's someone you can build with. You have to.
Yes. At the core. So you need to know those core traits. That's right. So that's what you have to start looking for is the core traits of people. And then you have to be willing to walk away.
Girl,
now people will get the first half of their list and be like, okay, you know, he meets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but ooh, this one's kind of sticky. Well, you know, since he's got all this stuff, I might stick it out. No, you've got to say, no, I am worth everything on my list. Okay, and I'm getting everything on my list. And this is not saying what people like to say, what is it? High expectations. What is that? When you have your expectations too high, whatever they try to say to put people down. No, you need to have high expectations. That's the only way you are going to not get abused is that you're paying attention. You are looking inside of the person. You are really digging out those traits to make sure, you know, the best you can. There's still some very skilled people out there that will hurt you anyway. And that's another piece is not being afraid to get hurt. You still want to be out there seeking love and giving love. And, you know, God will take care of them if they're that skilled that they lie to you and mess you up, which narcissists are. But yes, so you come up with your list, you go by your list, and you do not settle for anything less. Then those of us.
And Susan, may I say, that's putting not superficial things on your list, like, oh, he can't snore, or oh, or he has to have a full head of hair. But this is like deep psychological, emotional things that will take care of your emotional, physical, psychological needs, not just some superficial list.
No, exactly. Nothing superficial is allowed to go in there. Wonderful point. So that's how you do it if you're looking for a date or whatnot. If you're, you know, with jobs, that's how you can find out if your bosses are a mess, but sometimes we can't avoid them. So that brings us to, family members, myself included, that you can't get rid of, you know. So the big, you know, person in my life that was like this was my mother. So she passed away, but during life, you know, she did teach me a few nuggets in there, but unfortunately the emotional abuse and alcoholism was just overshadowing. So, and you know, I also still have another family member that I contend with. But I had to learn how to set boundaries with my mother. And how crazy is that, right? So I did it. You can do it with body language, where I would give a look of like, that's inappropriate. You know, she would say things to my sisters and I, you know, you're fat, or you're looking fat today, or whatever. And I would give a look. And then she would, oh, was that mean? Oh, I'm sorry, So she was a mix of borderline, which y'all can look up, borderline personality disorder, and narcissism. So she did have a little empathy in there. She did try, and then she was able to see when she was wrong sometimes, but man, it was hard. So I did it with looks, and then I did it with attention. So when she would start to say verbally abusive things and act out, it was okay, I gotta go now. So hopefully y'all don't live with these people, and if you do, you better get a plan to move out, because you're not gonna make it otherwise. But thank God I didn't live with her. And so I would, I gotta go, and I would pack up, get out, leave, take my kids, whatever. And so she wouldn't get that attention, and then she would call back and be nice a couple days later or whatnot. And other times I would straight call her on it, and this is where that inner strength of working on myself and getting that courage to speak up. I know one incident, and I do share an incident in my book, but this other time, she had moved into a new place, and we were trying to make it all nice for her. So I hired a gardener, and he fixed up the front, very beautiful. But there were still some weeds in the back that needed to get tended to. And so I was all proud of myself that I had did this nice thing for my mama, and said, come out here and look at what he did. And she just totally dismissed it and was just rude and like, oh, that's all? Well, the stuff in the back's not done, blah, blah, blah. And I stood up for myself and I said, you know what? You're supposed to say, this looks beautiful, and thank you so much, daughter. And she's, oh, yeah, sure, of course, blah, 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 And so that was an incident where I forgot. And that's what will happen when they're your family members. You will forget who they are. And you, out of a giving person that you are, which is most of us victims are giving, sweet, awesome people, you want to give. And so you forget and you try to give. And those of us givers, and especially if you're raised by these people, you tend to overdo it because you're always trying to compensate, or you're always trying to get that extra love and attention that they would never give you. And so there I was going above and beyond, and then got slapped in the face with it, So then what I do is you back up. Then I remember who she is and back up. I know who you are, Miss Jen, and I'm trying not to cuss. So all of
girl,
my
go on,
out
dude.
there,
It's all right, girl. You.
No. I respect your space, honey.
Honey,
So
it's not like I haven't heard it before, okay? And it's not like you cuss all the time. But you've got a image to uphold, girl. So you can't.
Okay, and when you start telling these stories, boy, I want to get real. So,
honey, I know
all y'all can fill in the dots.
This is just Jen, okay? All right, we just tell it like it is, right? And I've had similar situations, and I don't think my mom's a narcissist, but I remember when I was little, I cleaned the bathroom. I was like, look, Mama, I cleaned the bathroom. And she would tap and say, you missed this, you didn't clean the wall. And I was like, oh, really?
Right.
Really?
Right. And again, some of it is just the times they were brought up in and whatnot,
Yeah.
But yes, so y'all fill in the blanks with, I had to back the Emma F up, right? So I backed up, and again had to just re-engage with myself and do, my boundaries and leave and whatnot. Another thing I do when you're with the person is I have a thing I call the bubble. So you put on this imaginary force field, and that is going to protect you from their stuff. So while you're in the force field, you have to choose not to believe anything they say, good or bad, okay? Because they pull you in with the good stuff. Oh, you look nice today. Oh, you said that. And then we like that, and we start relaxing. Oh, they like me. And then boom, they're going to hit you with the insult because now they got you. So you cannot drop your guard. You cannot believe the good. And then you won't believe the bad when it hits you. You'll be able to go, knew they was going to say something about that. And I'm cool. I can, do my boundary setting, and I can leave. Okay. Right. And the other way is also not to spend a lot of time. So if you got to go visit, you go visit, put on your bubble, do what you got to do, and get out of there. Because the longer you spend, the more relaxed you get, and the more they have opportunity to sting you. Okay. So that's another tip I give. So yeah, I just, learned all these tips and stuff and ways to just deal with my mom and my other family member, and and get through. And it worked, you know.
Okay.
I was able to do a lot, and I still was able to take care of her toward the end. She was on hospice and all this stuff, and my sisters and I had to take care of her and whatnot, you know. So I still did that, and I was still there at her bedside, you know, because inside of me, I had forgiven her as well,
Right.
you know. So you have to learn forgiveness. I had forgiven her for the childhood stuff, and then I was just setting boundaries on the day-to-day, knowing that, again, right, crazy people don't know they're crazy. So she did not know what she was doing every time she did it. It'll seem like they do because of the manipulation, and it takes a lot of forethought, but that's different than inside them knowing how much they're hurting you, how they're inflicting pain on somebody. They don't know that. And so I gave
So,
that
like,
piece to
she
God.
never apologized, or if you said, Mom, you did X, Y, and Z, and that really hurt my feelings.
Right. No,
She
they would
wouldn't say,
never.
oh, baby, I'm sorry.
Because in there, again, that takes empathy. To be in touch with me feeling sad about something and you apologizing. They don't have that. They don't understand what's going on with you. Why do you feel that way? I don't know. I didn't do anything to you because I don't remember. You know, the perpetrators never remember the abuse.
Right.
Because to them, it wasn't abuse. Okay.
I have one of those in my life, a family member.
Right. Right. And so you have to forgive them and give it to God, put it over there, and then protect yourself, you know. So that's how I would do it.
What I say to myself is I try to accept people for who and what they are and treat them accordingly and react accordingly, you know.
Yes.
And just that's what I do. And that has helped me so much in life. And another thing that's helped me is what people think of me is none of my business.
Right. I'll give you one more. I'll give y'all one more cool tip. I'm giving you all the awesome stuff, Jen, because it's you.
Okay.
But another cool tip I use is detachment. So in the cell phone, what you do is you change their name. Okay. So at one point when I was really having to set boundaries, I changed her name to Lady That Birthed Me. So that really like separates it from mom or her name, because then you want to seek after that approval. So that helped me go whoop, back up, you know, and I could answer the phone call based on, am I emotionally prepared to deal with her today? Do I have the energy for this? Is it an emergency? I had time to think before just getting on the phone and getting walloped, you know. So you can change the names to those people in your phone to depict who they really are, so that stops you and helps you remember how to react, like you're saying, Jen, how to behave with them, because that's the hardest part when it's family, is you want to have these expectations. They're supposed to love me unconditionally, they're supposed to do this, they're supposed to do that. So every time they act out, it just hurts you, like, oh, why are they not, you know. So to help you stay in acceptance, and I have videos on the grief cycle on my YouTube, talk a lot about going through the grief cycle of this, because, you know, you're like, I can't believe this is happening to me. But then when you get to acceptance and stay in acceptance, that's what the detaching does, is like, okay, you know, I'm gonna deal with this person on a certain level, but here's my boundaries, you know.
Wow. So rich.
Yes, girl.
Oh. Okay, you've already told us about your books, so I want to skip that question.
Okay, yes.
And so really, I had a question of who encouraged you to write, but really you like encouraged yourself, right?
Yeah, well, my clients, you know, people, everybody needing help. And that's what it was for. It was realizing I'm one person and I can't talk to everyone and I can't get to everyone. So writing the book and creating the coaching program is a way that people can continuously get help, even if it's not face-to-face with me.
Right. Well, now you're so supportive of others. Who supports you emotionally?
Oh, my husband, he's wonderful and sweet and takes care of the house and the children. Oh, yes. So he does a lot so that I can do all this business stuff, you know. So I'm really grateful for that. And that's why, you know, I'm going to write the marriage book and things like that, because even though I teach people how to find a good person, then it takes work to undo all your stuff that you learned in those bad relationships and in your parents' house. How do we undo that, you know, to stay happy and cherish the good thing that you found, right? So I've learned a lot through that.
So true. So let's see. And who would you say is your biggest cheerleader and who supports you emotionally? Because you support so many
Mhm.
people.
Yes. Let's see. I have a lot of cheerleaders. I'm very lucky. I have a lot of other therapist friends, that give into me.
Mhm.
But I would have to say my daughter, that she's 23 and she's in the entertainment industry. So we're always like, I'm building my business, she's building her brand. And so we're, cheering each other on, like, go girl, go girl, So
I love
definitely
that.
her.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love it. Okay, so if you could change anything about your journey, what would you change and why?
Um, Yeah, I would change seeking financial knowledge sooner. That's
Hmm.
the only thing I think is really in my control to change, because the rest of what happened, I think, made me and had to happen a certain way, and to make me be here today and be able to help others. So really don't have control over that stuff, but things I'm struggling with today that I wish I'd learned or even thought to look at, what
Mhm.
is financial, studies type stuff. Because
Right.
that, I think, no matter how much stuff we do, building these empires and stuff, without the financial knowledge and background, we are just climbing uphill
Mm.
and
Yes.
doing something way more difficult than it has to be. But as we say with the Black community, right, we don't have grandparents with wealth. We don't have parents who talked about saving or wealth. We all come from families who were surviving one decade or another. And my family are immigrants. So we came to the country just surviving from where we were, and then came into a whole nother set of issues, with American racism and everything. And so
Mhm.
my family, my parents were always just surviving. So
Where were
now
you from? Where were you from
I'm
originally?
from Guyana, South America.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Yes.
yes. So we immigrated when I was 5, and I became a citizen around 19.
Okay.
Um, so I also work with a lot of immigrants and things, because I understand the culture shock and the issues and language
Mhm.
barriers and stuff like that. I do also speak Spanish. We don't speak Spanish in my country, but because of the thick Caribbean accents and the culture is very similar,
Mhm.
then I really took to Spanish speaking cultures out here. And so I've decided, well, I might as well learn Spanish. And it actually came pretty easy to me. So I help a lot of those people as well.
What
So yeah,
language do
really
they
trying
speak
to
in?
build wealth.
What language do
We're
you
we're
speak in
like
Guyana?
Jamaicans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
like on the corner, and in the water you have Trinidad, Tobago, and then you have Jamaica. So that whole little corner is Caribbean. And
Okay.
so yeah, so we're also Caribbean. So it's very interesting that they don't, maybe somewhere, I mean, there are natives and things probably
Mhm.
speak some language, but no, because they were colonized by the British, not the Portuguese or
Okay.
the Spanish. So yeah,
Yeah.
they speak English.
Both. The Portuguese was
We're
Brazil,
there.
and then
Yeah.
the Spaniards, I think, was everywhere else, or mostly everywhere else
Hmm.
in South America.
Hmm.
And
Right.
even and then the Caribbean was a mix too, I think.
Right.
Because
So
like
it's very interesting.
Haiti was France,
Hmm.
or they tried it. Girl.
They tried. Yes, yes. So again, just really learning and teaching other people to start learning earlier financial literacy and how money works, and an interesting connection between your emotional trauma attached to financial stuff, because while you're getting abused, whether emotionally, physically, or otherwise in childhood, it always, for some of us, is also attached to how poor your family was and what access to care and healthcare and different things you had.
Right.
So really learning a lot about that and really trying to undo those patterns, and poverty mentality, you know, is a big one. So just wishing that when I was learning a lot of stuff in college, early on, that someone had come along, or that I had seen a book, or I mean, back then we didn't have all this wonderful online stuff as they do today,
Mhm.
so we didn't have somewhere where we could go, let me just look this up, and look, here's somebody talking about it on YouTube. We didn't have that. So it's a lot different. The kids today,
Like
they are so lucky.
Yeah, it's like information at your fingertips. There's just no reason for anyone to be ignorant about anything.
Right.
For real, for
Right.
real. I mean,
Right.
because
Type it
if
in.
you really want to know, just type it in. If you
Uh-huh.
just want to know a little bit, they'll have a little definition for you, move on. But if you
Yeah.
really want to know, you can find
Mhm.
out. It's just amazing. It really is.
Yes.
Technology is, wow, it's mind blowing.
Yes. Exactly.
It really is. Well, I'd like to know, what's next for you?
Well, I am looking forward to vacation. So, all this hard work I'm really working up to, like I said, with the corporation for my therapy business, hiring people so that
Mhm.
I can take a break. And then my coaching business as well, hiring coaches so that that can run by itself. And that Miss Susan can finally go on a long awaited vacation because I have been working probably since I was 16, my darling. And I have not had a real go somewhere, do absolutely nothing. You have the vacations where you go visit family, and my husband's from the
Mhm.
South. And so we've done that, but that's not a vacation because we had to go visit everybody's house and say hi to everybody. So we had a
Girl,
schedule. It was
let me
busy.
tell
So,
you, I have a relative that's like, look, I did everything to get down here. I want to stay in one place. If you want to see me, you come to me. That's
that's
a good
right.
idea. That's what you should do.
Yes. Right. If
Because
you
I mean,
can.
you did all
Right.
the
Right.
work to
Yeah.
get there, thousands
Yeah.
of miles. The least you can do is travel 5 or 10 minutes to see me. That's the
And
least
not
you
have
can
me
do.
driving around, but at least they feed you. They feed you everywhere you go. So it's kind of
Yes,
cool,
yeah.
whatever.
What
But
part of the
yeah,
South
I'm
is your husband from?
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Okay, yeah, he's down there. Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh. Down there. So yeah, really looking forward to going away to some Caribbean beach and sitting and doing
Mhm.
absolutely nothing for a week or two. And that'll help me be a lot stronger and a lot better for everyone.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so um, where can my listeners and viewers,
Uh-huh.
if you are looking at me, I guess you are looking at me. How
Yeah.
can my people find you?
Okay. Well, for the coaching program, it's notlovecoaching.com.
Okay.
And my regular website is SAB, like my name, Susan Ann Broussard, SAB dot, oh no, there's no dot anymore. Sorry. SABLMFT.com.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's it. So both on those, and there's phone numbers and ways to reach me and stuff, to
I'll
ask
have it in the
questions
chat.
and email.
I'm gonna have it in the
Yes.
description
And
box.
then, yes. And then on there's all the Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Oh, I want to mention that on Facebook, we have a new private group called Thriving Through Narcissism.
Yeah.
So definitely they can look me up on Facebook. Just put in my name, Susan A. Broussard, LMFT, and then friend me and then try and get in that group. And so that was just started early January and it's booming. We've got 45 members and we're just, again, trying to support and have a place where people can get support and talk about what stage they're at and just really create a community. Okay.
I'm a proud member of the group.
Woohoo!
I really, I just through information, I'm thinking that I do have a couple of narcissists in my life, but they're not people that I talk to every day, or they are family
Right.
members.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it's
so
just
everybody needs help. It's
arm's
out there.
length.
Again, it's hereditary. It's getting passed down. It's getting
Right,
nurtured by society. So it is out there and it's not new. It's just that
right,
now people are finding out what it is and giving a name to it. And
right.
so, and really trying to help. So I also have a free pamphlet on my website, called How to Deal with Difficult People During the Holidays. So if you have people that you
Mhm.
only see
Mm,
once a year or
mm.
so, it talks about those techniques like the bubble and different ways to just set it up so that you experience the least amount of stress with them as possible.
Yes, it's just such great tools and information today that I know I will use. I'm not sure my people are narcissists, but
Yeah,
I do see with little twinkles in there,
sprinkles, right?
little
Yes,
sprinkles. So I
yes,
appreciate that bubble and just doing what I need to do and getting out, get in, get out.
yes. Keep
See
pushing.
ya.
That's right. Right.
Yes. So well, where can we find your books? On Amazon or anywhere else?
Yes. Yes, both books are on Amazon, but when you go through the website, the links are there as well. Or if you go on my Instagram, the links are there. Yes, and the other book is not out yet, the couples book. So there's also an app through my website where people can join the app, and then they'll find out when new things are, getting released.
Awesome. Susan, it has been sheer delight talking to you today. You've just been
Yes.
wonderful. I've enjoyed you and just learning about your coaching business and your beautiful marriage and just it's just been wonderful. And I appreciate you coming on my show.
Yes, thank you so much.
And I hope to see you in the future with my 18 free trips with my new job with Spirit. I'm with Spirit now, y'all.
Amen. Woo!
I can travel for free or almost free. So I'll
Yeah.
be out there to visit, girl.
All right. Yes, come to California, get you some sun.
Yes, girl, I need it. Okay, well, we're gonna say bye-bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much, sister. Okay. Talking with Susan was amazing, and I'm so glad she was able to join us. Now, our show is over, so I'd like to go ahead and just say goodbye to you. But before I leave, I want to remind you that you can visit me anytime on my website, www.www.jennoonspalding.com. That's www.jennoonspalding.com. You can also visit me at Just Jen Live on Facebook. It's Just Jen Live. It's Just Jen Live on Instagram and Twitter. And if you just want to know about my books and what I'm doing with Lily, The Adventures of Lily, you can just look under Just Jen for my books. Okay, that's going to do it for our 4th episode. It was awesome. Check me out and I'll see you. I'll have a new video for you guys on Thursday. Bye, everybody.